Companies now throwing employees overboard. What's this mean for your real estate? Hey everybody, Scott Walters. Buckle up, strap in. We got a hard-hitting, pull no punches, no sugarcoating it, no rainbows, no sunshine. Just going to give it to you and give it to you straight. We got a good one to unpackage today. Welcome to the show. I hope everybody's doing great. So we got a pretty good one to unpackage today. Another forward indicator. Listen, friends, congratulations if you're awake right now. If you're new, please subscribe right away. Never been a more important time in history to get centered and surrounded with like-minded people where iron can sharpen iron. We got to get in front of this and read between the lines and look between the economic cracks. And friends, I hate to be the one to report it. Don't shoot the messenger. There's some big cracks going on right now. You know, my job's to protect people. That is ultimately what I want to do. Now, I know it's not always the sexiest thing or the funnest thing to do because we're talking about potentially a lot of turmoil that's basically rearing its ugly head or fixing to here in our U.S. economy, which will have a global ripple effect. In fact, even without a global ripple effect, a lot of other large economies throughout the world are feeling the strain too. But today we're going to concentrate on our own backyard. Actually, we'll take a look around the globe a little bit too, because some of these companies are operating globally. And we've got some serious things going on. And the million-dollar question, the elephant in the room is, what's this mean for our real estate? Because you know as well as I do, at least if you've been around with the show for a while, if we lose the U.S. real estate market, we lose everything. It's a monster. And this thing got pumped up with artificial stimulus to the point where now it can't sustain itself. It hit the tipping point. We've identified the top of the biggest artificial bubble ever witnessed in human history. Even artificial aside, just the biggest bubble ever. How it manifested itself, we all know through stimulus. But a lot of people just didn't know any better. They drank the Kool-Aid. They thought this time was different. It was going to be all rainbows and sunshine. Well, we've said since day one of this show, the dust will settle, there will be blowback, and we will pay the piper for overheating this economy and more specifically, the U.S. housing market. So you might ask yourself, well, how does, these potential companies throwing their employees overboard have anything to do with the real estate market? Well, most of you know, because most of these people that are getting thrown overboard are high wage earners and they bought houses. And how do you make your payment if you lost your job? You are on borrowed time. You can only go so long without making your housing payment before something's got to give. And if you bought during the crisis, which 20 million people did, and my guess is a high percentage of the people we're going to take a look at today that are getting laid off bought during the crisis. That's just the reality, because a lot of these companies went on massive hiring sprees. A lot of these hires were new hires that were hired during the crisis. They got their new income and they went and bought during the crisis, and now they're losing their job during the crisis because they're going to be the first ones to go because they're low man on the totem pole. Unless some of these bigger executive positions, they start to get, trim the fat too, because those are big salaries now that we can lighten the load if we're one of these companies. But without further ado, let's take a quick look at just some of the companies out there throwing people overboard. Then we'll meet back here and wrap it up. Let's get started. All right, friends, buckle up, strap in, roll up your windows, lock your doors for another barn burner report. Companies that announce major layoffs and hiring freezes in 2024. And here we go. Citibank, 20,000 people thrown overboard. Boeing, 17,000 people thrown overboard. Intel, 15,000 people thrown overboard. Tesla, Donald Trump's boy, Elon Musk, throwing 15,000 people overboard. UPS, the shipping giant, 14,000 employees have just been laid off, sent home, thrown overboard. Jeff Bezos, Amazon, he just cut 12,000 employees. The list goes on and on and on. These are major layoffs and hiring freezes. And what's this tell us? Well, I'll tell you what it tells us. It tells us the economy could no longer sustain the euphoric stimulus era. These companies went on hiring sprees, and now those same exact people got, in fact, bamboozled. They're getting sent home. And what did a lot of these employees do? You guessed it. They bought houses, but they didn't buy just any house. They bought a bubble era house. They were all bubble buyers. So if they're forced to go to market, and I'll get these calls, they're no longer going to be able to sell their houses for what they paid for them. And that's why we talked about this. This is, in fact, the golden handcuffs that people wanted to say with the low interest rates, how these people would hold on to their homes because they don't want to lose those low interest rates. Well, if you don't have a job, I don't care if you have 0% interest, which you don't, you are in fact going to lose the home. Your interest rate will no longer save your home. Let's jump back to the studio and wrap this one up. All right, friends, welcome back, and there you go. And we're just scratching the surface. I could spend the next, I don't know, hour going over companies throwing people overboard. And friends, I mean, some of these companies, this is big. When you see Boeing, Amazon, a lot of these huge companies that have money, they can carry the extra personnel. They're not. They are trimming the fat. Why? Why, you ask? Well, of course I'm going to tell you. Because they're basically doing what we've been saying to do here at this channel. You need to get in front of this. In final thoughts, I come to you as a friend, as a content creator, as a real estate guy that wants to see you not only win in real estate, win in life. Understand the waters you're swimming in now, they're shark infested. I know a lot of you are surprised this housing market and economy held on for as long as it did. We're seeing the fractures now display itself. Listen, friends, when this thing plays out, it's going to come out of left field. It'll be unexpected, and it will be on. And you think it's starting to get painful now? Wait until it really starts to play out. Then it's going to be a blood in the streets. My advice, and I'd never suggest anybody do anything that I'm not doing or willing to do myself, insulate yourself in these times. Expect the unexpected. Save your money for a rainy day. Don't be a deer in the headlights. If you halfway expect what we just talked about to play out, you'll be able to operate within it much more efficiently. There's a lot of areas right now, if you're looking at real estate, that are safe, but there are plenty more that are not. And that's why I'll be here to blow the lid off it every step of the way, because it's